Alright, this is my final project for New Media 4110. This is my website. I coded the whole entire thing. It's pretty simple. Home, and then this was my original projects page. So it's just pages of pictures of the screenshots, basically. I did two little things for my final project. The first, well, I guess the bigger one was the new projects page, which I use. It's very simple, but I use jQuery um, to write this, or to write this part. So when you roll over these headings, the change to blue and this pink color is CSS actually, and then the little menu on the side that comes up is with jQuery. It was pretty interesting. I learned some stuff doing this. I'll show you. The actual jQuery of it is pretty interesting. So I wanted to just show the one that it was on, but then have it stay there once you mouse out of the title block. So when you come over, it still stays up and you can click on them. And then when you move to a different one, it'll change to that one. And then when it goes off the screen, all of it goes away. So to do that, I did title 1, so I named it title 1, 2, 3, 4 are these blocks, and then content 1, 2, 3, 4 are these sections of links. So when you roll over title 1, content 1 shows, the rest of them hide, which is pretty simple, but it took me a little while to think to do this hide part. Because that way, when one is up, the others are not. And then that was cool, and for like that was initially good, but then it would just, I would do this and one of them would just stay up the whole entire time you had the mouse on the screen, rather than like until you put the cursor on another title block, which was not super ideal. So to do where you mouse out of the box and the links go away, I just did the same thing as this section on all of these, but there are two div tags above and below. So this projects tag, and then there's just a blank div tag that goes like across most of the screen, and it's just on mouse over, it hides all of the content. So you actually can go off to the side and go around and it won't go down, but I'm just kind of counting on people going out the top and bottom to make it go away. So then it still looks pretty clean. And that is the first part of my final project. I will show you this. I found a cool little thing called animate.css. A dude wrote a bunch of CSS where you can just add, it's kind of like Bootstrap, you add a class to like a div tag or a button or whatever HTML element, you add a class to it, and then it will just animate it for you. So these are just little div tags that I use CSS to make the shapes and the colors and all that. And then click animate and they do these cool little animations. The interesting part of this, I had to write some cool jQuery for this too. So, and I don't even remember how to explain it all, but basically it would, when I wrote it first, it would just, whenever the page loads, it does all these animations. And so I had to write it to work with this button. So, basically, let me try and figure this out before I try to explain it. These variables are to end the animation, and that is written into the guy's CSS code, like he put that up on GitHub. Basically, so this is the button, this is this animate button, and when you click it, the function is, it selects all the different boxes and it adds the class of whichever animation I wanted it to do. And then once that is done, it ends the animation and it removes the class. Like that's how it ends the animation, which is these variables. It adds these variables uh, by removing the class. So then you can start over and click it as many times as you want. One thing I can't figure out is if you scroll down and click the button, it like reloads the whole page. So I guess that's part of the adding the class or something. Also, I found this little thing is kind of neat. It's just some JavaScript to say, depending on the time of day, it says good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. That's kind of neat. Yeah, that's it. My whole final project and my portfolio website, and I will put this video on there. All right.